It is now time for our new old, new old, who's to say, re-recorded album review of the week.
It's Taylor's version.
It's Taylor's version. Jeffrey, would you like to usher in this review for us?
Yes, before I usher us in, remember to subscribe, to like the
Yes.
video, to share with friends, please. This review is of Taylor Swift's Speak Now, Taylor's version. We're going to talk a little bit about the original version released in 2010, which was her third studio album. We're going to talk a little bit about the Taylor version, which is her third re-recording of one of her first 6 albums. Those first 6 albums are owned by a different corporation.
Big Machine, I think.
Big Machine originally had the rights, and they sold it to Scooter Braun's investment firm. He sold it to some other conglomerate, and Taylor Swift has a big problem with her music being used as a commodity, although this is music business. It's part of the thing. So what she is doing, and I applaud the effort, is re-recording those first 6 albums so that she owns her masters, not just of the written material of the songs, but of the actual songs as you stream them, et cetera, et cetera. The first version, I'll just say some stats, released in 2010, produced by Taylor Swift and Nathan Chapman. Nathan Chapman, multi-instrumentalist and vocalist all over the album. He produced her first 6 albums almost entirely by himself. And Taylor Swift wrote all of the songs on this album. The original 2010 version is 14 or 20 tracks long, depending on if you count all those bonus tracks. It is 1 hour and 7 minutes or 1 hour and 31 minutes long. This new version, Taylor's version, produced by Taylor Swift and Christopher Rowe. And then there's input from Jack Antonoff and Aaron Dessner, some of her recent collaborators, on the bonus From the Vault tracks, the last 6 tracks that you'll hear on the Taylor's version. This new re-recording uses some of the musicians from the 2010 version, specifically Mike Meadows, who played electric guitar on the original version. And on this Taylor's version, he takes over the Nathan Chapman multi-instrumentalist, harmony vocalist role. This new version also features bassist Amos Heller, who played bass on the first version. And it also features her backup singer from 12, 13 years ago, Liz Hewitt, singing vocals on, I think, 4 tracks on the Taylor's version. This Taylor's version is 22 tracks, if you include the 6 from the Vault tracks. It is 1 hour and 45 minutes long. It is a feast for the fans. I don't know what you guys think about this. We'll get into it. This album, painstakingly, along with her other recordings, painstakingly reproduces the actual sounds from the original recording to a kind of alarming degree at sometimes, because you're like, God damn, they fucking not copy and paste, but they got musicians to make this shit sound 99.5% the same. What are your thoughts in general of the A and B between the original version and the Taylor's version of this album?
I mean,
throw some
I think
thoughts.
The original version feels hot, white, bright,
Yes.
2010s
Yes.
pop. Even that production style, it's not really around that much anymore. We
Yes.
really don't do that anymore.
Mhm.
And the new one takes that white hot light off, but only just a smidge. It only just takes it off a little bit.
Yeah.
There are a couple songs that I think changed a little bit, and it's only and a lot of them a couple of them changed sonically, but not that much. And then the biggest change, I think, was the perspective, the age perspective.
Sure.
You have a 34-year-old singing what a 20-year-old used to be singing, or a 19-year-old. So I think that makes it interesting, the most interesting from the A and B portion of it. But really, it's so the same. It's just taking a light and just dimming it the slightest little dim. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely that dimming makes things warmer feeling, cleaner feeling. I found that sort of the lower end frequencies were a bit more pronounced. Like Luke said, that you lose a little bit of sizzle, but you gain a little bit sort of underneath everything, which I thought sounded really nice. And her voice, I thought her voice sounded really, really good on the Taylor's version, just because, like Luke said, I mean, it's she's 34 now. She's not 20 or however old she was when she recorded the original. And I think that tonally, her voice, you can hear the maturity in her voice. And for my ears, my preference was I like the sound of the mature voice much more.
Also, speaking of voice, before we leave that real fast, the twang that was kind of on maybe songs like Mine and Mean, it's kind of it's gone now. Like that's like not really like Main isn't really Main anymore. It's like Mean. So that's changed, I think.
Yeah. So we talked about the light being slightly dim. So a lot of that high EQ stuff was very bright and sizzly on the original version. This is warmer. It's kind of like, if you look at something in, whatever, 1080 versus 4K or whatever, it's like, it's me. I think instrumentally there is a lot more depth on these songs, a lot more coloration, some additional interesting, like kind of panning stuff, like when you listen to it with headphones. The mix just sounds like there's more money behind it. There's maybe like a higher level of musicians. I don't know, but like the original, listening to the original, that shit is, I thought I didn't like this album, and then I listened to this, I'm like, God damn, this original version, like this thing holds up. Like the fact that a 19-year-old girl made this with like studio pros in Nashville, like this thing is ripping. It's really good for pop country music, which is not my thing. But.
So I thought the same thing too, because I was like, one, in my head I'm like, I don't really like this that much, and then two, I'm like, I don't know any of this. And then listening to it, I knew every song because it was like ubiquitous in culture apparently. And I liked it a lot. I thought it was really, really a strong, really, really, really strong record. And I kind of have to say this, after A and Bing them, I kind of think I like the original's Hot White.
Thank you. Me too, bro.
Hot White better, because I was like, and this was thing. I didn't know if I was nostalgic for that style of pop music. That's right when I graduated high school. This is what came out 2011.
Yeah.
I was a year out of high school. I don't know if that's like that style of pop music that I'm nostalgic for, but man, I really liked that on the production of all these songs. And the new one, it was cool and interesting, and I liked it for like being a fan of Taylor Swift to like A and B them. But I was here for the original production.
Well, that's the thing I wanted to ask you guys too. So like I know that the re-release thing, there's more about as far as like her and the legal challenges and all that stuff and the master recordings and all that stuff. But I wanted to ask you guys your opinion sort of on like the re-recording, just kind of as a blanket topic, because it's just like, because I thought about that. I'm listening to this and I'm like, I understand why she's re-recording it, but in a way, does it sort of kind of like muddy up the vision? Because like, man, like it's like that thing where like, 2010 or 11, that production style, those songs, that it all sort of encapsulates like this bubble that was this sort of time when like people were all of a sudden Swifties. There was the birth of the Swiftie and like all that stuff was happening, So does the legal thing set aside, does this Taylor's version sort of take away from that kind of magic that's on the original?
Celebrates it. I think it celebrates it and pays
I
tribute
so
and honor
too,
to it.
Yeah.
I think that's like what I kind of got out of it, because I thought the same thing, especially like when this was like all these were announced, and I was like, I don't like that idea. And then like after like seeing it done, I'm like, oh, I really like this idea, because it's like it really shows where you've been and where you're going, and it pays tribute to her fans that still love these songs and this music. And even though Taylor's like outgrown this, like some of this writing style, she still like goes back and like pays tribute to the people that like really liked it, so I think it adds to like the legacy in her fandom.
This is a business move, though.
This is
the only reason why she's doing this.
Right,
because this isn't Joni Mitchell or Peter Gabriel or Carole King like re-recording different versions, different arrangements, different styles of their songs 30 years later. This is like, I want to make these songs sound exactly the same, except for now I'm 33 and I'm singing it. Because like, is there even I would say there is less than a 5% difference on the instrumental tracks.
Yeah.
Like, and most songs, I would say it's like a less than 1% difference.
Well, let's talk about the ones that are like the most different, because we really didn't like song by song.
Most different.
I thought Dear John was like the one that popped out to me to be like the most different, and that was mostly vocals and tinge.
Right, and that's my whole thing on this is, like you said, you like the 2010 version better. I like the 2010 version better between the two, because these are songs written by an 18, 19-year-old woman, and with a twang in her voice and a young voice and a kind of sizzly high end, and like now she sounds like a 33-year-old who doesn't twang out the country. It's just very different to be singing songs about being in high school love and not sounding like you're a high schooler in love. Like,
Right.
like I think vocals specifically, like as we can tell from these versions, like even that single coil lead guitar on Dear John, it sounds like 99.5% exactly the same, which is hard to do, but can be done. You can't sound like yourself 15 years ago. There's there's very few vocalists I think that have ever lived that, like, if you really recorded the shit, they wouldn't sound like, as your voice matures and changes. And
Sure.
See, I loved the. See, I like.
I think she's a better singer now, but I like the
2010 version overall, but like songs like Dear John, I liked it where she was older because it was almost like she was singing to herself back
perspective.
then.
Sure.
And that was like the new feel I
Yeah.
got from it, and
Yeah.
that one for me was the most like A-B darker. Like it sounded darker to me, like in tone, like production wise.
I think the growing, whatever it's called, Grow Old.
Oh yes,
I think that's
never,
another one.
Never grow up.
That's
Yeah.
one that works.
Yes,
Yeah.
because it's that one also.
Because she's not a 19-year-old singing about like her friend who just had a baby. She's now like at a more midlife age singing about young people, maybe in a general sense. Like it's like the meaning we all put into it kind of thing.
Yeah.
But or the revenge song, better at revenge.
Oh yes,
like-
with the
With the lyric change.
I think
Right.
the lyric change, because the lyric change in the original version was she's known more for what she does on the mattress, and now it's completely changed to be he's a moth to a flame, she's the one who holds the matches. It's like a whatever, a softening current climate of certain sensibilities about like men and female power dynamics, and
Yeah.
but I mean, and it's all right, whatever, do your thing, but
I think it's I think it's interesting. I think
Yeah.
I think it may have started off as this project may have started off as like one thing, as like I'm gonna make them exactly the same, and I think now it's more of like I'm gonna do this to like do that as well, but also make it so the fans can grow and have like a new, like grow with the legacy of the whole thing again, and like. And so I think it's been like a real like the fans have been really rallying around like the old Taylor Swift ideas and like really getting back into it, and I think it's really just
it's like a
more-
high school reunion type
That's
of
what
thing,
it feels
Yeah.
like. It's
which
like
is cool.
it's almost like if
Yeah.
it's like if AC/DC
Yeah, yeah.
way out left field, but it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like, we're gonna re-record Back in Black as old men, and like it's not gonna be the same, but we're gonna go out and tour it, and it's gonna be
Yeah.
fun, and it's just because we feel
Yeah.
like it, and we want to hear
Right.
what it sounds like now. I'm in for it.
I respect
so-
it.
Yeah.
I support it.
Me too.
But all things being said, like, let me hear the Taylor's version instrumentals with the 2010 Taylor vocals on top of it.
Oh,
Because to me, that's what I want. Because if we're going like heavyweight champs against each other, the 2010 version I think is 25% better vocals in my opinion, because of the young voice, the young perspective, how it matches. Whereas the new Taylor's version, the instrumentals are like maybe 5% better and more interesting. So I think I give the weight to the vocals. Like this is singer-songwriter music. The vocals are so important. It's so hard to extricate time and place, and like
absolutely.
if these Taylor's versions were like, I'm 33 and we're gonna like make these songs like different instrumentally, I think I'd be more on board. But like
Because they're so similar.
they're
Yeah.
other than tweaking some EQs, it's like the same.
I will say,
instrumentals.
with the song, I think it's Last Kiss or
Yep.
Long Live. It was one of those two, but I think it's Last Kiss, where
Okay.
there's like, I didn't plan on you changing your mind, I think is the lyric, where there's kind of like this warble in her
Breathy, yeah,
voice.
yeah, the meme,
yeah.
R.I.P. the breathy voice.
Yeah, R.I.P. the breathy voice. I think that was Last Kiss. I
Yes.
did find, and I'll try to make sure. I'll try to remember to send it to you, Luke, or maybe we'll try to put it in the link down below in the bio. But I did find one YouTube video that had the original
Yeah,
version
yeah,
in the left
sure.
ear and then the new version in the right ear, and
Yeah.
it was such a weird thing to
Yeah,
listen to. But it was cool though, because
Yeah.
you're like, wait a minute, it's one of those where you close your eyes and you try to focus really hard and like
Yeah.
split your head in half to try to like
Yeah.
find the.
I
two
respect
things on
it,
the side,
but
you
there-
know?
here's
But there
my,
is clearly the vocal difference.
here's
right?
my
Yeah.
real question Do we feel like these songs on the bonus songs now? Let's talk about
Yes,
the bonus
please.
songs.
Yes, moving on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we think the bonus songs are really from the vault, or do you think these are new songs?
Oh no! I had heard that the songs were originally from the vault, but they were re-recorded
Yes.
for this record.
But where are the old vault songs? So we know.
That vault's been closed up like Tutankhamun's.
Here's what I'm
Oh, man.
here's my
It's at Gringotts.
here's my sly I don't know if this is true.
Yeah. Yeah.
If Big Machine had those songs,
They would not let them out.
they would let them out. They'd release them. They want money,
Oh yeah, they would.
They would
but
let them out.
themselves.
They'd
Yeah,
sell
yeah.
'em.
Right.
right? And
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
now that they're released to the public. So I'm wondering if
But
these
who-
were incomplete songs.
Sketches, perhaps.
My idea with these were demos from that era that never got made.
So that's my little bit of
Yeah.
because
Also, the legality of it, though. Did they technically own those songs? You know what I'm
they
saying?
they own them if they're recorded. I think because that's the same thing with like the Stones, Brown on Sticky Fingers, Brown Sugar, and Wild Horses are owned by the old record company.
Oh, because they recorded them before they went into
Before-
record Sticky Fingers.
Exactly.
I see.
Before they were on Atlantic
Yeah.
Records. So
Yeah.
it's stuff like that. Also, I thought the bonus tracks too were interesting because it seemed like it was almost like a little bit of like rewriting of like emo history over here, like the Taylor Swift like being with Hayley Williams
and Fall Out Boy.
and Fall Out Boy, because if you were like really around at that time, so separate, very like literally like different lunch tables at school, completely different
It
lunch
was,
tables.
it was Abercrombie and Fitch and Hot Topic.
I'll tell
It was
you.
and it was a war. It was a Cold War.
It was a Cold War, and we sat
Yeah,
at
yeah.
different tables. So this is, for me, there is that like one pop punky song on here, which was Better Than Revenge, but that oopsie, no, we don't want to get sued. For me, it was just a bit of rewriting of the history, seeing that the emo.
That's what
was
she
very
does,
popular.
though, man. She's friends with all the celebrities on every walk
Though
of life.
very
It's what it-
influenced by Patrick Stump from Fall Out Boy, and says like Fall Out Boy is one of her favorite bands and has been talking about them in interviews for years. So
Yeah, I thought
that was interesting,
I mean-
and I liked all the songs. I'm just, talking grand
I
schemes.
like some more than others.
Yeah, I liked I Can See
Me
You.
too.
That one was the one where I was
I
like,
Can
oh,
See You is
hell-
my favorite.
I'm like, hell yeah.
Because
this-
that's like 80s Fleetwood Mac doing The Police. or
I
something.
know, I love that though. It was like that
Yeah.
cool like
We
the
all
cool
love
guitar,
the
like
same
that four
one.
on the floor. You know what I mean?
It sounded
Like-
much more like the 1989 tracks.
Yes.
Yeah. It had that indie surf rock
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing, but the
right.
chorus was still very Taylor Swift
From that era.
from
yeah,
that era,
yeah.
you know. Even Castles Crumbling, featuring Hayley Williams. I don't know that it was like definitely my favorite one of the lot as far as the bonus tracks went. But I thought Hayley Williams' voice like sounded nice. It complemented the song well, and I'm not sure, but I leaned very closely and I thought, is that a Mellotron that's kind of like floating around in this song?
Oh, probably.
I was like, oh, is that a Mellotron? I get excited.
If
every
not,
time I
it
hear
might be a
Mellotron, I'm
fake
sorry.
Mellotron.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
fake
I
Mellotron.
like the Hayley Williams Castles Crumbling too, which was about the famous Kanye Mike grab, supposedly. So written in that era, there's another song on this record that's also about that on the original album. But did you guys like Timeless, the final bonus track on this record?
I did.
Which-
Because
Yeah.
my comment was, why wasn't this on the album?
This
it
was
sounds-
it's so Taylor
Great
Swift.
storytelling.
It sounds
too.
so
That's
much
what I
like the
liked.
Speak Now other collection of songs.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the other ones where I'm like, I don't know if this made sense with these pop country things.
Exactly. Timeless.
Foolish
though.
One, same thing. And When Emma Falls in Love, with the little banjo tinges on things.
I think when Emma Falls in Love might have been like a little too country. Like I think
Right,
it was like a
sure.
little like it was thought out. She said she struggled very much with the original track listing of this record. When Emma Falls in Love too, reportedly about Emma Stone.
Yeah.
The actress. So I thought that was kind of interesting too, and maybe originally left off the album to like not put more celebrity names on the album because it was already pretty heavily
Yeah.
celebrity filled. You know.
Yeah. Do you have any final thoughts on this whole thing?
I have no more final thoughts. I like it
Hit
though.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll give some final thoughts. So
Sure.
I kind of went into listening to this record with some sort of like biases, perhaps, or preconceived notions of what I thought this was going to be. I was never a big when this album came out. I was still all in on like Lamb of God, so I was not really doing heavy Taylor Swift
Yeah.
listening. We reviewed Midnights when that came out, and I found it to be a little bit underwhelming. Apologies to the Swifties, but that was just my opinion. And so I kind of went into this being like, all right, well, here we go, a Taylor Swift record. And I came out the other end, and I'm like, I really like Taylor Swift. I really like this album. This record completely changed my mind and my opinion on Taylor Swift. I have a deep respect for her as a songwriter, especially that these songs were written by a 19, 20-year-old and the time that they were recorded and stuff, and I'm Team Taylor Swift now, man. I enjoyed this record a lot more than I thought I would.
I'm going to double up on your final thought there, Jerry Springer, and I'm going to really say that I agree with you. And this record and re-release of Taylor's version made me have a lot more respect from Taylor Swift than I originally had, and made me way more of a fan than I originally was. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
strongly agree.
I respect the business move about re-recording these things so that you own your masters. I fully endorse fans going and streaming the hell out of this Taylor's version so that the other one becomes a little bit more obsolete.
Most streamed thing ever on Spotify in one day on
Wow.
the original release day last Friday.
The bots are hard at work.
Indeed.
Me as a musician, like I love the original's lead vocals more than the Taylor's version, but that's me. I'm not a Taylor Swift listener that much. I listened to 1989 here and there. I kind of thought that I was like, this album, but after listening to it, like this is an extremely strong album. This is like the original version, this new version. It's just like great songwriting. It's like way more classic songs than I thought were on this. And it's like, I think the risk you run when you re-record your music, which a lot of bands do to get control of their masters and to get some of that revenue that is now owed to the businesses that own the original masters. What you run the risk of is like doing a lesser version or like, and kind of, or just sounding old or sounding played out. And that's the new Taylor's version is very strong. It is very worthwhile to listen to. So check out the new version. Reminisce of the old version because like it's awesome too, but like great album.
Yeah. Really, really liked it.
Yeah.
This has been Get in the Garage. Speak Now Taylor's version.
Yeah, speaking of Taylor,
Yeah.
and just let us know in the comments below. Like, which one do you prefer? Do you like the old one? Do you like the new one? Are you a Swiftie? Are you not a Swiftie? If you're not and you listen to it, did you change your mind like we did? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.